I just got the news when I first woke up. It was the first telephone call of the day. It was
wonderful.
Denise told me. And she,
What time
about
was it?
1 o'clock.
Did you create some of it all yourself?
Yes, I did. I did a lot of writing myself. Bob allows you that freedom. And like, for instance, one day at lunch, he said, "Okay, Duvall, you can't have lunch today." And I said, "Ah." And he said, "You have to write the scene for this afternoon." So I went and I got my lunch and I sat in a room by myself and I wrote the scene. So
Is that mostly dialogue?
it is. It's mostly dialogue. I had a lot of monologues in the film, and I wrote all the monologues.
Could you describe your part a little bit?
Well, let's see. As you know, it's a difficult movie to articulate, but Millie is a product of the media. She's a product of all the magazines that she reads. You know, she reads what she should look like, what she should decorate her apartment like, and what she watches on television. She thinks that she's got to be perfect. And like the sign on the wall said, cleanliness is sexy, or clean is sexy, you know, on the bulletin board and above her bed. I mean, she's just a media product. She's like the ego, I think. Yes, I'm from Houston, Texas.
Like everybody now in USA.
I'm from Houston, but I lived in Los Angeles for 3.5 years, and then now I live in New York. And my grandfather was French, but I've never met him.
How does Mr. Altman work with his actors?
Bob works with his actors as friends. Before he starts shooting a film, he gets to know you so well that he knows your little idiosyncrasies and the little nuances about you, you know, he knows your limitations. By the time he starts shooting with you, you have a great trust, you know, with Bob. And this being my 6th picture for him, you know, it seems very easy. It's like being at summer camp doing a film with Bob, especially when we were in the middle of the desert shooting 3 women. It was like summer camp. Yeah. But you work hard. You work 6-day weeks, and he shoots in sequence as much as possible, so that you have a chance to develop your character. And especially for this film, where there were so many delicate changes and subtle changes that had to be made, it was important to shoot in sequence, I think. And it's like on Nashville. All the people that hadn't worked with Bob before were very nervous, thinking, aren't I supposed to be doing something, or isn't the director going to tell me exactly what to do? And the only thing I could tell them was just to relax, and then all of a sudden you'll fall into the role. And that seems to be the way it is. People try to intellectualize how he works, and he's really very simplistic. He doesn't work on so much a technical level. He realizes that it takes more than just great technology to do a film. He cares about the performance and about every aspect of the film. I don't know, I guess I'm a big fan of his.
The legend says that the first time he proposed to you to play cinema, you refused.
The first time that
Bob proposed to you to play
Yes.
cinema, you refused.
The first time, I wasn't going to be an actress. I was 20 years old and still living in Houston, Texas, but I was very naive. And I had a party one evening, and it wasn't unusual for people to come to the party that I didn't know. So these 3 gentlemen walked in, and I told them to please have a seat, and I went on showing my boyfriend's paintings, hoping to sell some of them, you know. And one of the gentlemen said, we have some patrons of the arts for friends, and would you please bring the paintings up Wednesday at 1 o'clock to our office? And I said, certainly. And I brought 35 paintings up. I lugged them upstairs and went through the whole spiel, you know, what the artist was thinking, you know, being real artistic. And instead of saying, I want that painting and that painting and that painting, they said, how would you like to be in a movie? Quote, how would you like to be in a movie? I couldn't believe it. I said, I'm not an actress. And they said, yes, you are. And I said, no, I'm not. So by the time we got through arguing, they had my telephone number, and we became friends over the next month. And then we started shooting. It seemed to all be very easy. And it wasn't until I finished my 3rd picture, which was also with Bob, which was here at Cannes 3 years ago, Nous sommes tous de valeur, Thieves Like Us. And it wasn't until then that I decided to make a career out of acting. It wasn't until then that I had it in my blood and I knew that that's what I wanted to do.